there's a huge challenge with masculinity right now, isn't there? Where more men than ever before, they feel disconnected from their true selves, from their purpose, from really what it is that they're meant to do in this life. And there's like a catch 22. On one hand, did you know that over 76% of men right now, they feel like despite having external success, they really feel like they're not living up to their full potential truly, despite having all the external success. But then on the other hand, you have the totally other side of the spectrum where, I don't know if you know this, more time than ever before in human history, more so than the Great Depression, adult men ages 18 to 34, they're living at home with their parents, not really doing much in society, not having a partner, not being with a spouse, more so than ever before. And here's really what nobody's talking about when it comes to masculinity. And I don't think it's because it's either because they don't know, they just sincerely don't know, or it's because they're still stuck in an outdated model of what masculinity is and how to step into your authentic power as a man. And I know for me personally, and maybe many of you can relate to this, this is something that took me over a decade to figure out on my own. And I can't even imagine, I can't even begin to calculate just how much it cost me in missed opportunity, in missed finances, and missed relationships, and just missed time of me being who I'm really meant to be. And after I figured this out, I find it to be so crucial that I'm so happy that Stephen invited me to do this, because it's really going to help you not fall into those same patterns of self-sabotage, and it's going to allow you to become who you're meant to be, do the things you're meant to do, and really have the things that you want to have in this life. So I'm excited to share this with you. If you're here watching live, before we begin, comment live if you're watching here live. And if you're watching on the replay, comment replay. And also share with me, where are you calling in from? Where are you viewing from? I'd like to see like where from all over the world everybody is. I think that's really cool. And as those answers are coming in, before we dive in, I also want to take a moment to thank Stephen Ocean for putting this together, because he's put together an outstanding event here, an outstanding group, and a brotherhood. And I've had the opportunity to really talk to him one-on-one a little bit through group chat and through Messenger. And also I've had a chance to take a look at him and observe him on his pre-event calls and really get a sense of what he's all about. And he's doing this for the right reasons. And I'm telling you, he's a solid guy. And he's created a fantastic brotherhood of men here, all looking to become the best version of themselves and help each other out and really hold each other accountable to become that best version of themselves. By the way, quick show of hands, because I want to prove a point here. How many of you in this group, you know that you're made for more? At some level, you know you're made for more. And not only that, but you're ready. You're finally ready to live at your full potential at the next level. If that's you, comment "that's me" or put a 1 in the chat right now. Awesome. Now, who here, not only do you want all that, but you're here, you're driven to become the best version of yourself, no matter what life throws at your way. Overcoming obstacles and challenges, like you're committed to your own success no matter what, because that's who you are as a person. And who here, you want to feel deeply aligned, right? Not just have success for the sake of success, right? That's all great, but that's not what it's all about. We want to be deeply aligned with our purpose and doing something meaningful and making a contribution in this world while still feeling like we've become our best selves and stepped into our authentic power. If that's you, comment 1, say "that's me" in the chat. Yeah, and I think that's most of us here, you know? But you'd be surprised, what I was talking about before, most men out there, they live their entire lives stuck in patterns, stuck in unconscious patterns where they're constantly chasing success, they're constantly chasing validation, and they're not ever really truly feeling fulfilled. Or they're feeling disconnected or lost, or they're unsure of what it truly means to be a man. I know for many years, I had no idea what being a true, authentic man meant. Was it being this alpha guy? Was it being a nice guy? I couldn't figure it out, and it was really challenging for me. And we've been conditioned as men to suppress our true selves, to suppress our strength, our courage, our vitality, who we really are. And what I find happens so often is these men, they push themselves harder, but they're still unhappy. Or they succeed externally, right? And they might seem like a success on the surface, but inside they feel stuck, don't they? Or they're trapped in these cycles of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. They have a vision, they have a goal, they have a mission, and then they self-sabotage and they're frustrated. Or they wonder why, like they're pushing their head against the wall. Right? Have you ever done this yourself? You're banging your head against the wall, trying to push the boulder up a hill. You're doing everything right. It's not like you don't have the desire, willpower, motivation, but that discipline, those actions, those habits, even though they're important, it's just not enough sometimes, isn't it? And here's the truth. As men, we're built at our core. We have masculine instinct. And at the heart of us, we really want to be all about strength and courage and decisiveness and living our purpose. But what I found is it's not about pushing harder. It's not about doing more. Right? It's not about the things that we do out there, even though it is. What it's really all about, it's about reclaiming our power. But not power to be domineering, but power to be our authentic selves. And what most men really want, comment if this is you as well. We just want to wake up every single day embodying true confidence and true clarity and living our purpose. We want to know that our actions align with our greater mission, our spiritual vision in this world, don't we? We want to feel deeply aligned with who we are at our core and why we're here. We want to achieve success, but not at the cost of burning out, right? In love and health and relationships and career, in our own personal vision. And we want to embody that authentic power that attracts success naturally, not by forcing, but that's just because that's who you are. And right, I think that's what we all want. But the question is, how the heck do we get there? And that's a question I asked myself for a while. And what I found is I believe that you don't get there by pushing the boulder up the hill. I don't think you get there by smashing your head against the wall and, beating a dead horse. I believe you get there by really transforming at your core, at the identity level. And now that's easier said than done. You might be asking, what the heck do I mean by, changing at the identity level? What this means is it's shifting at the core of who you believe you are. Your purpose aligns with your beliefs, aligns with your emotions, so that way your external success flows naturally from within, because that's who you are, that's your energy. Because you and I both know the external world is just a mirror of what? Comment in the chat. What's the external world just a mirror of? It's just the mirror of your internal world. The external world is just a mirror to your state. And when I say that, when people say there's a version of me that's the real version of me, by the way, who here knows like there's a version of you deep down that's the real you if you could just let it out, right? Even if you're at a 9, even if on paper you're at like a 9 or a 10, if people think you're successful, you might know deep down that you're not really living your full potential, right? Well, when people feel that way, what's going on is there's that version of me that's the real me if I could just let it out. What that means is there's that version of them that's free from conditioning. There's that version of them that's free from all of the limitations from the past. And when they're out of alignment, right, whenever there's something that you consciously want and you're unconsciously self-sabotaging, there's an internal conflict. Does that make sense? And it's not until we align those internal conflicts that we can start to have what we want to have and really step into who we want to be easily and effortlessly. So I want to share with you a story. How do I know all this and who am I to be sharing all this with you? 5 years ago, you would not recognize me. Actually, I'm going to pull up a screenshot real quick. Hang on, there we go. Through the magic of technology, we got a screenshot. That was me on the left there 5 years ago. And before that, like 7 years ago, like before that, I was successful. I had a business. I had a great relationship. I was married to my college sweetheart. But internally, I was a complete mess. And all of my patterns from the past, those internal conflicts had compounded over time. I hadn't dealt with them appropriately. And in a short amount of time, like I shared with you 5 years ago, I ended up divorced. I ended up depressed. I ended up 80 pounds literally overweight. I lost my business. I was in massive, massive debt. And the worst part about it is I was a student of personal development. The worst part about it is I knew better. I had all the knowledge. I had all the tools. I was like the smartest guy that had all the information, but I wasn't fully embodying it. Who here can relate to what I'm talking about? Maybe not you personally, but you've seen that before somewhere. If that's you, give me a thumbs up, or if you can recognize that at some level. And that was me. I had intellectual mastery, but I wasn't embodying it physically. And what I wanted deep down was, like I shared with you before, there's that version of me that I knew that I was. And I think we all feel that. I knew that I had this potential inside of me. Everything I tried wasn't working. I was changing my habits. I was changing relationships even because that wasn't working. I was changing where I lived. I was doing all the things I thought to do. I was waking up early, doing the morning routines. Nothing was seeming to work long term because what I realized is wherever I went with me. And so finally one night, it's 3 a.m., I'm at rock bottom. I'm like, something's got to change now. I'm the one that's going to change it. No one's coming to my rescue. We have to do this thing, and no one's coming to save me. Like, it's up to me. Do you know what I mean? And what I found out was I go, the challenge isn't the external, the challenge is me. It's my identity. But not my identity like who I am at my core, right? I was living out of these beliefs that was rooted in childhood that consciously I thought I had, put to bed, I put to rest, but unconsciously they were still affecting me. And they made me fundamentally feel like something was wrong with me. And so I'm like, well, what really is the core of who I am? And when I figured that out, when I shifted my identity, everything changed. Right now, I want to just preface this. When you want to lose weight, you got to go to the gym. When you want to be successful in business, you have to get clients, right? But when my core of who I was aligned externally and internally, I wasn't struggling anymore. The results became so much easier. And about 12 to 18 months after that, I rebuilt my relationships. I started making six figures again in business. I got in the best shape of my life since college. And I got invited to start speaking on some really amazing stages, which blow my mind to this day. But I'm not saying that because I'm special. I'm saying that because these tools are so critical and crucial, they can change your life if you know how to use them. And since then, I've dedicated my life to helping men really stepping into who they're really meant to be. And so I call it something cool. It's called the 7 levels of self-mastery. But really what that is, I discovered this organically just by going through my own process. And it wasn't until after, when I started to reverse engineer what was really going on, that I figured out what it was. I'm going to share it with you here today. So here's what I want to say. Every single person has a different model of reality. Does that make sense, right? Like, so two people can grow up in the same household with the same experiences, but they can interpret it differently. It can mean different things. Do you know what I mean? That's called a model of the world. But everybody's model of the world is different. And so what we're doing here in mindset work and personal development work is we're trying to align ourselves. But sometimes if you don't have a map, how do you know where to go? Do you know what I mean? So what this is a map to show you where you might be out of alignment with yourself and what areas to focus on so you can really maximize your results and your progress and live your mission. So I'm going to pull up the screen real quick. Stand by. Okay. So these are the 7 secrets to self-mastery, or AKA the 7 levels of self-mastery. So number 1, and everybody has all 7 of these, right? And they're all equal, but there can be conflicts between them, or you set it up the wrong way. I'm going to share with you what I mean. So number 1 is your purpose. And your purpose is your driving force. That's your mission. That's your vision. That's your spiritual vision too. And if your purpose is strong enough, it's like the head of a train. It can pull the rest of this straight through, right? When I was overweight, when I was in debt, when I was at rock bottom, my purpose was so strong. It was to be the man that could go out there and help people and inspire people. And because that purpose was so strong, everything that happened to me, I didn't go into victimization. I was like, how can I use this and learn from it and make it into something I can teach others? Does that make sense? Because the purpose was so strong. The only challenge was I wasn't embodying that in my identity. So number 2 is the identity. It's the core of who you believe you are. It's whatever you say I am, right? I am a success. I am a failure. I am Jared. It's like it's your biography. It's your name. But who you believe you are, put it this way. Tony Robbins talks about this. He says the strongest force in the human personality is the need to remain consistent with how you define yourself. The strongest force in the human personality is the need to remain consistent with how you define yourself. And that is so true. And I want to add to that, though, it's how you define yourself unconsciously. I'm going to share with you here in a moment what that means. So number 3 is your mindset, your beliefs, and your values. And your mindset, your beliefs, and your values, they can either empower you or hold you back. They can either serve you or disempower you. So you want to make sure when they say fix your mindset, this is what it means. But take a look here though, right? Like, is it possible that you could do all the affirmations in the world, all the incantations in the world, all the on paper, write out your beliefs, and still not live them, right? Why is that? Because your identity is one level higher. Do you follow what I'm talking about? So if you're trying to change your beliefs, but internally you don't believe it's who you really are, right? Unconsciously, you're going to be saying all these beliefs to yourself, and your brain is going to be saying, BS, that's not true. Have you ever heard a part of me wants A, but a part of me wants B? That's an internal conflict we're talking about. Does that make sense? So the number 4 is your state or your emotions. And your emotions and your state, moment to moment, that shapes your decisions. You know, so it's like if you're in a good mood or a bad mood, it's really going to affect how you view reality. But there are some emotions that are our emotional home. and we live there more often. So what will happen a lot of times is people try to pump themselves up, change their state, really get excited. But if you take a look, if there is a conflict within these 7 levels, right, could pumping yourself up, changing your state, really getting yourself in a good mood, it'll create momentum, but will it last long term? Do you know what I mean? Who here's ever been really, really motivated for January 1st, New Year's? You pump yourselves up, you get all into it, right? And then a couple weeks later, by the way, studies show most people fail their resolutions by February, realistically more like the second week of January. So having that peak state, right, having that motivation, that can work, but unless the other levels are aligned as well, it doesn't last long term. And then number five is your resources and skills. This is what a lot of men are focused on making more money, focused on learning more, getting more knowledge and information, right? Does that make sense? It's your time, it's your money, it's what you have access to. Number 6 is your habits and actions and what you do, your behaviors. And finally, number 7 is your environment, what you surround yourself with. So we've all heard you're like the 5 people you surround yourself with, but also your early environmental conditioning. So I want you to see how this works real quick. I'm going to switch up the slides. I want to share with you because this is important. There's a line right there. And you see that little circle right there? What most people do is they set up their life like this. They let their environment and their conditioning control their habits and their actions and their behaviors. They're just doing what they know how to do. And then they try to gather more skills, resources, or knowledge, right? I need to make more money. I need to go start a business. I need to go learn more stuff. I need to go to school. I need to have an education. And they start chasing these things, right? And it becomes a rat race, doesn't it? And what they try to do to change stuff is they go, things aren't working. I got to work hard. I got to change my habits. I got to take more action. And that doesn't work. So they go, I need more skills. I need more resources. I need more money. And then that doesn't work long term. So I need to do more action. I need to do a morning routine. I need to push myself harder. And they burn out. And then that cycles and it cycles. And finally they go, you know what? Nothing's working. It's my environment. It's the relationship I'm in. It's my career. It's where I live. It's the friends I surround myself with. And they change their environment. And has anybody ever had the experience of changing a situation and then it repeats itself with different characters? Anybody else experience that? 100%. Me too. Why is that? Because wherever you go with you. And they're focused on the bottom 3 and they're not focused on the top 4. Because if this was weighted, having a strong purpose, aligning it with your identity, having your mindset and beliefs and values really align with that identity as well, and then having that emotional fuel and that state that drives you, that's going to be the energy that drives you forward. Does that make sense? Right? So we want to make sure that we just are not solid in one of these categories or 2. When we're talking about alignment, because everybody talks about alignment, don't they? We want to make sure that these 7 aspects of you, of your model of reality, are in alignment. Does that make sense? Comment, I get it. Comment, I'm in. Comment, I'm with you if you're following what I'm talking about. Awesome. So how do we do this? Number 1, what you want to do is you want to really focus on what is my purpose. Then number 2, who must I become to embody that? And then after that, if that's who I really am, how would that person show up? How would the ideal version of me show up every day? What would he believe? What would he value highly? And number 4, if that's who I really am and that's my purpose, how would I have to show up energetically? What would my state have to be moment to moment? Does that make sense? And so we can do a whole hour and a half. We can do 7 days on this, right? But I wanted to give you this because it's so important. And just having this alone is enough to start shifting some things for you. So comment in the chat real quick on a level 1 to 10, with 10 being absolutely, I am crushing this right now, and 1 being, I need to really fix all of this stuff, which I don't think anybody is. Where are you right now in having this whole thing aligned fully? So comment 1 to 10, 10 being the best. Where are you now with being fully aligned? Completely. And just do that for yourself for a moment. Comment in the chat. I'm curious. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to be chatting here in this group. I have a couple more sessions throughout the week, next week and the week after. We're going to continue this conversation with different aspects of it. We're going to go deeper, right? And if you want to learn more, feel free to check out those other talks. But then also we have some great resources available if you want to learn more. They're in the chat below, or they're the first pinned comment. I have a free blueprint called the Self-Mastery Blueprint, which goes into this in detail and also shares with also shares with you how you can shift this without just banging your head against the wall and trying to incant it. There's a way you can do this unconsciously. So there's the Self-Mastery Blueprint below. And also, if you want to follow me some more, check out Self-Mastery for Men's free Facebook group. That's in the comment section as well. And I'd love to serve you as best I can. But really, it's been my pleasure serving you here today. I hope you got some value out of this. Comment below, what was the biggest thing you got from this, right? What was the biggest thing you got from this? And also comment, what's one thing that you can commit to right now to implementing that's going to help you with your results down the road? That's going to help you get to that next level. So comment in the chat below. It's been my pleasure serving you. I'm Jared with Self Mastery for Men, and I'll see you all soon. I'll see you in the next couple of presentations. Take care.